You better turn up. You better be there when I shake. Watch me rocking if I can't stop. If I should fall, just go ahead. Go and catch me, baby. Ooh, I live it. That's my true love, true to love. Ooh, I love it. Crank it up, yeah, yeah, yeah. Turn it up on a higher level. Turn it up, we got this.
Break it down like this.
You better grab that tambourine. Bring the bass, we might be wicked. We may be forced to cause a scene. Make some trouble, baby. Ooh, I live it. That's my true love, true to love. Ooh, I love it. Crank it up, yeah, yeah, yeah. Turn it up on a higher level. Turn it up, we got this. We got this. On a higher level. On a higher level. We got this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wednesday podcast. I am still feeling a little bit under the weather, but I was feeling good enough to do a podcast. So sorry if my voice is still a bit groggy. I've been coughing like crazy. I don't know where this infection came from, but I'm here. So please, yes, hit that thumbs up button and that subscribe button, please, and welcome. Thank you so much to the mods as always. Karen, Leslie, Cookies and Cream. Let's let some people stream in. Yes, we do have new intro music. Do you like the new intro music? I've been wanting to change it for a while. I hope you like it. All right, let's get to it, shall we? A couple things to get through. Okay, some good news. These screenshots, by the way, were taken from Duchess of Sussex Instagram page, Jessica. So go and check her out, please. The Sussexes have some new hires. So they have Mr. Kyle Bulia, who was at the United Talent Agency for 6 years. I think they're like the third biggest agency in Hollywood. It's like CAA, WME, and there's UTA. So he is now Deputy Press Secretary and Director of Communications for Archwell. And also, UK-based Charlie Gibson will serve as the point of contact for all UK and European media. During his 2 decades in brand management and public relations, Charlie has led campaigns for clients including Instagram, Samsung, and Haribo. So they replace Miranda Barbot, who has been promoted to Vice President of Programs and Media Operations. Carl and Charlie will report to Ashley Hansen, Head of Communications and Global Press Secretary for the Sussexes. So, in conclusion, the Sussexes hire the best of the best. They are not playing around. They're not hiring people that are just going to do their dirty work because they have no dirty work to do. They're not in a one-sided competition with anyone. They're definitely not going to be hiring people like Simon Case. Simon Case, William's former aide, who played a key role in Harry and Meghan's exit, in their harassment, in the bullying against them. Let's not forget the infamous Flyby scandal, that stupid PR stunt. That was Simon Case, where they flew empty planes to pick up Kate and William to make the Sussexes look bad for taking a private jet. I mean, ridiculous. And now it's come out that Simon Case allowed unrelenting and systematic racism to run rampant in Cabinet Office. Because before he was William's aide, Simon Case was in the British government. And instead of doing what he was meant to do, help run the country and do what's best for the British people, he was allowing bullying and racism run rampant in his office. I mean, what more can you say? This is who William wanted to hire and have around him, the likes of Simon Case, Jason Knopf, and Christiane Jones. And I think we're yet to hear the full story of what those 3 henchmen, bullies for hire by William, were doing behind the scenes. I think we only know the tip of the iceberg. Dear oh dear. Right, in more positive news, Meghan's jam is making all the headlines. You've never seen jam in the news so much. Nacho posted about it. A lot of Meghan's friends that have been getting her jam have been posting about it. So it's like a soft PR rollout. I think it's actually a very nice way of promoting the product, and also just because the British media keep on trying to paint this narrative that Meghan doesn't have any friends. Meghan and Harry have been isolated from their Montecito, from their Hollywood community. So it's great to see her friends supporting her, but for those of us who aren't in the troll squad, who live out here in reality, we know that Harry and Meghan do have plenty of support, and their friends always support them, and they always support their friends. In other fantastic news, GB News is going down. GB News that has been one of the main media bullies of the Sussexes. GB News, where Dan Whatnot used to work before he was fired. They are now beginning a redundancy round, seeking to cut 40 roles. It is the first major redundancy exercise since the broadcaster launched. Farangopoulos told GB News, I have to read it the other way around, sorry. GB News Chief Executive Angelos Farangopoulos has announced a redundancy round at the opinion-led broadcaster seeking to cut 40 roles. It is the first major round of cuts at GB News, whose recent accounts covering the year to May 2023 showed an operating loss of over £42 million. Farangopoulos announced a redundancy round at a town hall on Friday afternoon. Staff were informed at another town hall last week that forthcoming changes at the business may result in the cutting of some roles. So I'm guessing that priest, that so-called priest, and his fro will not be getting hired again. And anyone who's been fired before this will not be getting hired again if they're cutting more people. 40 role, that is a lot of people. That's a lot of human resources to help save money. This is a sinking ship. The business is currently appealing for staff open to taking voluntary redundancy to come forward, offering up to 2 months' salary and possible payment in lieu of notice as enticement. One staffer at the channel told Press Gazette there was a real last days of Siegon vibe in the office right now. Oh, I can bet that. I mean, if these people weren't stabbing each other in the back before, what more now? It's that type of place. Frangopoulos told the Lords Communications and Digital Committee last month that he was very confident that GB News could become self-sufficient financially, but we have lots of work to do. The most recent company accounts for GB News put its staff headcount at an average of 295 across the year, up from 175 in the 2021-22 financial year. A 40-person reduction would be equivalent to a 14% cut of the 295 figure, if the 295 figure remains correct. GB News has faced a partial advertiser boycott since it first launched in August 2021. In November, it created a paid membership scheme for the first time, promising members access to exclusive commentary from presenters, behind-the-scenes footage, and access to events. Yeah, they're desperate. They are desperate, and for a large, this isn't even well, I guess you could call them independent, but given the amount of money that's been pumped into them by Murdoch, for such a large operation like this to be flopping and failing, this is a bad sign for them, but a good sign for us because it shows that people are just fed up of you know the, just being fed the same lies over and over again. How many more times can you sit there and listen to the likes of Angela Latrine say the same thing over and over and over again? Now, with all this in mind, the likes of GB News, Talk TV, they obviously sway one particular way in terms of politics. And um, we are going into the next general election. Now, Ofcom, chief executives of doing absolutely nothing, have put out this statement saying, ahead of the next general election, we're sending a clear warning to broadcasters to maintain the highest standard of impartiality. We've also issued strengthened industry guidance on rules around politicians' presenters, because this was one of the issues with GB News also. Nothing short of the highest standards of compliance and heightened impartiality rules during this period will be acceptable. Should any broadcaster fall short, we will move swiftly to enforce those rules. And what exactly are you going to do, Ofcom? What are you going to do? Because you don't do anything, then put slap on the wrist people who break your so-called rules. It's just a joke, and I can bet that GB News, Talk TV, they're all just having a laugh at this right now. Anyway, let's get your comments. Hi Valerie, hey Gwen, hey Vera. Vera, you say, I call the collective deranged as the herd of rabid hyenas. That indeed. That indeed. Claudia, wondering if Nana is in for the cut. I think they'll probably look at who gets the most viewership and who gets the least and start making their decision from that. I mean, that it just makes the most sense. So I don't know, what Nana's ratings are in comparison to some of the other people on that ridiculous network. Yes, Honey Tea Biscuit, you caught her live. Hello, hello. All right. Now, do we have another royal photograph scandal? At this point, I have to just imagine they're doing it on purpose because this is just ridiculous. So they put out a new picture of Prince Louis for his birthday. Um, they're saying that this picture was taken by Kate a few days ago, but as you can see here, this was taken 2 years ago. So why would they lie about a photo? Why would they say that Kate took this photo a couple of days ago when it was taken 2 years ago? And why do they continue to lie about something so ridiculous? Are they? At this point, I have to believe that there is something else seriously going on with Kate, because I don't understand why they would lie about her taking a photo if she was supposedly so well that she could do that video, where she was announcing her illness and her issues that some people still believe was a fake video. And if she was well enough to do that, assuming that video was real, then why would they have to lie about her taking a photo of her own kid? And you know, if Kate couldn't take the photo, why wouldn't they just get somebody else to take the photo and put out a photo of Louis for his birthday? Why put out a photo that's 2 years old? I don't know. Are they just so desperate to get us talking about something and anything now that they're just doing this because they know the internet investigators will talk about it? I don't know. But it continues to make them look ridiculous. It continues to make them look like liars. And I just don't see the point of this. And now pulling the kids into it. Also, they've decided to give themselves new trinkets. Um, Kate will now get the Royal Companion of the Order of the Companions of Honor, whatever that is. William becomes the Grand Master of the Order of the Bath. Now, the Companion of Honor, which goes to Kate, is meant to recognize achievements in art, medicine, sciences, and public service. Has Kate done anything in arts, medicine, sciences, and public service? I don't know. Is there anything I'm missing? Just wow. And what's crazy is that they honestly believe that anybody really outside of the UK cares about these titles. But I can bet you, even if you went out onto the streets of the United Kingdom and asked 100 people, what's the Royal Companion of the Order of the Companions of Honor? Nobody's gonna know what that is. Oh dear. You had Dan Wooten here tweeting, "Take that, Meghan." I mean, why would Meghan care about some silly titles? She left. Jeez. As Queen Czar Maid said, the fact that they think meaningless titles for meaningless things means anything to Meghan is hilarious to me. It says much about the class system, culture, that merit is downgraded while mediocrity is awarded. Meghan is American, we earn what we want, not awarded for missing in silence. That exactly. Oi. Wendy, you said the palaces are purposely lying on photos to deflect from Harry and Meghan's positive news. Any press is good press, trying to stay relevant. Being a joke on the global stage is okay for them. At this point, it seems like it. Because it's not like they're making the news for anything else. I mean, Photoshop Gate, that is the most uh, globally talked about that news that the royals have gotten in a long time, especially to that level. Because now it became a pop culture conversation. Joan, that's all she can add to her very thin CV, indeed. Okay, let's move on to the next thing, shall we? Um, oh yes, and now because Meghan has her cooking show coming up, all of a sudden William loves cooking. Now I have forgot to put it on my slides, but there's actually another picture of him holding a pot. The stove isn't on, and he's holding the pot and stirring, trying to make it look like he's cooking, and the stove isn't even on. And now apparently Kate and William could feature on the next Celebrity Bake Off. And Kate and William's fans with a small F, um, I think they took one of or they hijacked a URL that was similar to American Riviera Orchid, and they redirected it to a fundraiser, finally doing something useful, except they had to use Meghan. Apparently, they've raised what, 11K? I mean, that's cute. how many hundreds of thousands have the Sussex squad raised over the last 8 years. But finally, Kate's fans doing something useful, albeit having to use Meghan. And now William apparently feels like doing lots of cooking. Here he is cooking it. Look at the guy in the back. He's like, I have had enough. Why am I here? Nobody forced you there, sir. You wanted to be there to watch William slice celery. Oh dear. Also, the derangers are so deranged, they're now making knockoff jars of jam. Somebody actually printed a fake RO label, got a bottle that's actually smaller than the actual jam, and put this bootleg piece of cloth over the top. And they've also been making spreadsheets tracking who's been gifted the jam. The amount of just ridiculous trolling over jam. Apparently, the asparagus lady wasn't available, so now we have a gold-winning marmalade maker in the Daily Fail telling Meghan what could go wrong with her jam. These people have completely and utterly lost the plot. It's like they're not even embarrassed by how ridiculous they look and sound. It's literally jam. Now, Abigail Spencer posted a picture of her little package from Meghan, and you know who couldn't handle? Who just could not handle all of this happiness? That's Guy, by the way, Meghan's dog. You know who couldn't handle all of this joy and laughter? Angela Latrine. Angela Latrine just could not handle this level of joy. She sat there on Talk TV and completely embarrassed herself. Let's take a listen.
Against Meghan Markle. That's what it sounds like. You sound like Angela, with respect, you sound like a troll. You sound like a social media troll. Everything you can point out that's incorrect.
Very rude. You don't call someone a dog with respect. That's without respect.
No, it is with respect.
Let me talk about something else. Abigail Spencer, who is also a friend of Meghan's, she was given the 6th jar of jam, right? And we would see her lying on the grass, hugging it with the dog close by. It was a very sort of set up thing. That's one when she's sitting up. You're sitting down. And I thought, how ridiculous. This is a jar of jam. Why are we all getting hysterical about a jar of jam?
Yes, Angela. Why are we all getting hysterical about a jar of jam? I mean, she's literally saying that while being utterly hysterical herself.
Who's hysterical about it? It's PR. She's trying to sell something. This is called advertising.
I know what PR is.
Well, with respect, clearly you don't. You're saying it's so set up. It's a PR stunt.
You're here to fight me, so why don't you say goodbye?
I'm not here to fight you. I'm just laying out the truth to you.
You're very rude.
No, Angela, you don't want to be challenged. You won't be challenged and you won't be scrutinised. I'd like to know. Oh, and she's gone. You see, this is what happens when you challenge people. When you go to them and you say to them, "Here's some facts. Here's some truths." Some people don't like it, and if people can't answer the truths, what do? They hang up. Get her against Meghan Markle.
Yeah, so she actually hung up live on the call because she just couldn't handle the pushback. I mean, how ridiculous do you have to be angry about someone just having some jam and having a laugh with their friend's dog? I mean, Angela at this point just needs to be stopped. They need to stop inviting her. She has nothing useful to say. I mean, even jam, she has something to criticize Meghan over because of jam. I mean, Charles has a line of jam. They're even now trying to claim that Meghan is copying Charles. These people they've lost the plot. They have truly, truly lost the plot. Right. In slightly more serious news, the lawsuits surrounding the Sun, hacking, illegal information gathering, all of that. Some rather interesting details from Hugh Grant, who's one of the many claimants who's tried to take them to court and get justice. And he wrote a very interesting thread. So I'm just going to read this out. He said, "For anyone who has been interested in my lawsuit against the Sun, the news is that I've had to settle my claim out of court before it gets to trial. News group are claiming that they are entirely innocent of things I had accused the Sun of doing: phone hacking, unlawful information gathering, landline tapping, the burglary of my flat and office, the bugging of my car, illegal blagging of medical records, lies, perjury, and so on and so forth. As is common with entirely innocent people, they are offering me an enormous sum of money to keep this matter out of court. I don't want to accept this money or settle. I would love to see the allegations that they deny tested in court. But the rules around civil litigation means that if I proceed to trial and the court awards me damages that are even a penny less than the settlement offer, I would have to pay the legal costs of both sides. My lawyers tell me that that is exactly what would most likely happen here. Rupert Murdoch's lawyers are very expensive. So even if every allegation is proven in court, I would still be liable for something approaching £10 million in costs. I'm afraid I'm shying at that fence." So this is why it's so difficult for people to take the papers to court. Rupert Murdoch has spent over £1 billion in damages to claimants and in lawyers' fees, getting over 1,500 claims in this way. He seems remarkably determined that there shouldn't be a trial of the facts. Murdoch's settlement money has a stink, and I refuse to let this be hush money. I have spent the best part of 12 years fighting for a free press that does not distort the truth, abuse ordinary members of the public, or hold elected MPs to ransom in pursuit of newspaper barons' personal profit and political power. So this money will repurposed, will be repurposed via groups like Hacked Off into the general campaign to expose the worst excesses of our oligarch-owned press. I'd like to thank my legal team, Angie Lee, David Sherborne, Evan Harris, and Dan Woodall. I'd also like to thank the courageous whistleblowers who came over from the other side and other brave witnesses who are providing much of the evidence, including Dan Evans, Emma Jones, Dano Hanks, Glenn McClare. I particularly want to acknowledge the work and sacrifices of Graham Johnson in the face of unfair attacks from those on the other side who are seeking to stop the truth coming out. And it just shows like how if you have the money, you can just get away with anything because Murdoch's lawyers are, so expensive. And only the likes of, Elton John, and Harry, now that he's out of the fold and making his own private wealth and a lot of it, only them are able to take the papers to court like this because nobody else would be able to afford it. Even, Hugh Grant, relatively wealthy actor, wouldn't want to take that risk. That's a lot of money. So, great of him to pour that money back into the Hacked Off campaign that have really, stayed on the tabloids' necks since the first Levin inquiry. But it just shows why it's so difficult for anyone to get justice. Not just because well, first of all, because it's so expensive, but because the press will also just, pound you down and hound you and bully you into giving up. And we've seen how they have tried to go after Harry and Meghan for the last 7 years. The likes of Piers Morgan relentlessly bullying Harry's wife, hoping that he's going to step back from this court case, and he will not. Harry's going to take this all the way to the end. And actually, the Sun has lost its bid to push back the full High Court trial, which is listed for January 2025. The publisher of The Sun has lost a bid to push back a potential full High Court trial of unlawful information gathering claims brought by the Duke of Sussex and others. He is among a number of people to bring cases against the publisher, with a full trial of some of the claims, which could include the Duke, due to take place in January next year. At the hearing earlier this week, NGN asked the judge, that's newspaper, I think that's is that News Group, asked the judge to instead hold a narrower in scope preliminary trial that month to decide whether the cases against it have been brought too late outside the legal time limit. So they're arguing that the cases are too late because of the legal time limit. But what Harry's side is arguing, and the claimants are arguing, is that they were destroying evidence. So it took a lot longer for them to come forward. And also Harry still being in the fold, it would have been difficult for him to bring this case to trial in the way that he has. Right, that's all I wanted to go through today. There's one last thing, actually. This recent picture of Charles, y'all, he does not look okay to me. Obviously, he's very ill right now, and he's getting treatment for whatever it is, whatever type of cancer it is that he has. But I believe that he is more sick than what they're telling us, and probably has been for a while. And it could explain why we're seeing all these very strange articles about, not being ready for King William, and Charles isn't confident in King William. So yeah, I think there's definitely in general with this institution, there's a lot they're not telling us, but with Charles and his illness, I think there's a lot they're not telling us. All right, I'm gonna wrap things up there. Thanks as always for tuning in, folks. Really do appreciate it. Also really do appreciate if you keep donating. Obviously I was not monetized for the whole of April, and YouTube will not pay me. They will not pay me what I earned just before I was demonetized for January either. So that sucks. Oh, thank you so much, Elaine Parker, for being a member for 22 months. Thank you. Appreciate you all. All right. Wendy, you said, I pray that Harry can go the distance of the court case. I think he'll go the distance. I mean, he's willing to spend the money, and he's making his own private wealth now, so he should be able to. Rhonda, you said, I cannot believe such a law exists. They can mistreat you. You hold the accountable, yet you have to pay them for you standing up for yourself. Exactly. The law is so broken, and it's swayed so that people who do the worst win the most. Crazy. Oh, thank you so much, Honey Tea Biscuit. Appreciate you listening and supporting. Thank you so much to Black Queen for the coffee. Much appreciated. Thank you. Julie, you said, Meghan is damn whether she sells Cham or anything else. Exactly. My goodness. She could sell happiness in a jar and people would still come after her. All right. I'm going to wrap things up there. Thank you, folks. I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.
You better turn up. You better be there when I shake. Watch me rocking if I can't stop. If I should fall, just go ahead. Go and catch me, baby. Ooh, I live it.
like this.